Well, this room, completely empty, painted, done. And then so is this room. So I thought I'd be a little bit like, oh, you know, sentimental about it. But I'm not at all, because it's small and dingy and it's nothing like the new one. Now, when I say the new studio is done, what I mean, of course, is that I've moved everything into it. It's never done, like it's never going to be done. It's always evolving, always coming up with new ideas, switching out old things. Many of you guys know this. I do switch things up quite a bit. Normally, most of my tanks last about 6 months, 4 to 6 months. If I really like them, we go a little bit longer. It just depends when I deem them to be finished. And finished is if I keep trimming them back and the same thing happens, like for me, that's done. So I think now just let me take you on a sort of tour of everything. We can have a look at what we've set up so far. Talk about plans that we've got to come as well, because there's so many blank canvases now. Oh, the 2 4-foots are in that section as well. So looking forward to getting those going. I've got an idea for both of them. Hopefully you guys will like that as well. So as you come in the door, you're first greeted by this row of tanks here. These are all from my old studio, actually. I didn't save many tanks, but the ones I did save were these ones. So down here, we've got some guppies, snow white guppies. There's 2 females and a male. Both the females are pregnant and bulging, look, and I'm expecting babies to be swimming around this whole sort of bottom area and hiding away very, very shortly. Where's the second mum? Oh, there we go, there's the second female. Not quite as bursting, but I think this one's gonna be first. Basically, I want an absolute ton of the snow whites, and I wanna do like a red tank with all white fish, and they will be sort of the stars for that. The tank next to that one is it's quite dark down here, but this is like a little no filter. Well, it's not little, it's 60 centimeters, so 2 foot, no filter aquarium that I did. And it was just so well balanced that I couldn't bring myself to break it down. So I kept it and just let it keep growing, and that's what it's doing, to be honest. The fish though are so healthy and happy in here. Look at the colors that shine through as well. Even though there's not a huge amount of light coming down into the tank, we still get this iridescence really, really popping on the lamp eyes. What I like about this tank as well, it gives a really good sort of difference between high-tech Limnophila ceciflora, this one, ceciliflora, sorry, and low-tech. So low-tech like this, it grows really spindly. But over on this tank here, look, you can see, if the fish let me, hang on. So it grows a lot more thicker and bushy when you've got CO2 and higher lighting. This is impossible, isn't it? I mean, that's not really a surprise, is it? We do expect that. The plants get a lot more bushy in a CO2 high lighting environment. But it's quite interesting nonetheless. So yeah, really cool tank, one that I don't have to actually do anything to at all. I just quite like having it here. It'd be perfect actually to be able to put a breeding group of something in at some point. Above it, we've just got some little nano tanks, and oh, that needs to come out, doesn't it? Yeah, so this one here is for my ruby tetra that are really confused. What's he doing? He never does anything to our tank. These are ruby tetras, and I just wanted to create a really simple little scape for them. Again, no filter on this one. A lot of my tanks are no filter. I've got a couple of high tech, but most of them are no filter, because I just like the idea of it. Just glass box full of water, leave it alone. Yeah, so quite a few people actually were worried about this section here, because it's right next to that bright window, which is one of the best features in this room, and that's why I don't sort of cover it up. A lot of people are actually worried that we're going to get algae all over this, but there's none. There's a little bit actually, but that's from previously. We haven't cleaned it yet. Going to be teaching my wife about maintenance and that soon as well. So a lot of help, that would be great. That means that everything will just stay looking really fresh whilst I'm working on new systems, teaching Kate how to do different things as well. She's not here today. She's got loads to do at home. I think, to be honest, she's bailed on me. First time she's bailed though in 2 weeks. I'm gonna have to dock her some wages, aren't I? So yeah, that's great, that's fantastic, but this This here is the main attraction when you walk through the door, initially anyway. I mean, later on it's going to be everything. I've got some big plans for a bigger tank in as well. Probably thinking where am I going to put it, but we'll get to that. I've actually got more space than I'm currently sort of looking like I have. But yeah, this tank here has turned out so nice. It's only a few weeks old actually, just over 2 weeks I think, something like that. Time is flying at the moment, so it's hard for me to tell. It has actually got quite a bit of just green spot algae on the glass, which is normal in a planted tank. There's no algae in any of the wood or any of the rocks or plants and things, so I think I'll just give that a good scrape so we can actually see the tank better. There we go, we're now all clean and I think looking fantastic. What I love about this tank is like it looks like pure nature in my eyes. The way we set it up was deliberately to look that way, so quite sort of rough with the plants. They're not in specific areas, they're just kind of bunged in gaps as if they would in the wild. I mean, it's not really going to look like this in the wild, but I think there'll be less variety in the wild of all the different plants. They don't really go together, some of them, but you know, we have the luxury of doing whatever we want, don't we? Oh yes, and I also forgot to mention, so over this side we've got a Caridina tank. This one was one that I set up with Akadama soil. The shrimp are doing really well. I've actually grown into adults now, bunch of them around there because I've just put a little algae wafer on the floor. I think they're trying to work out where it is. But that's brilliant to see that they've all grown up, and hopefully soon I'll be able to get some babies out of them now that they're adults. But it might be the case that I've got either all males or all females here. Maybe I just need to increase the gene pool a little bit and add some more in there. When Matt took a look, he did say he thought I might have all males, but some of the back ends look very chunky. I don't know, it's hard to know. So yeah, anyway, that's the whole entrance area. Then we've got this side here. So the studio is kind of split into two sections. Actually, it's more like three when I think about it. We've got the middle section here. If I spin you this way and keep the camera moving, you can then see exactly where I'm going. Then you've got this whole section over here, which I'll talk about in a minute because I've added some stuff. And then you've got the whole section over, how did I not realise that was there? We've got this whole section over here as well. So this section is going to be pretty cool. It's like we've got loads of racks. So I've got a rack here, and I've got a rack, I don't know why I'm telling you that, you can see it. But we can have lots of little small tanks, lots of things going on, holding tanks, plant storage, trimmings, that sort of thing. Going to set all of these up, put shrimp on them as well. And then there's like a nice feature one that will be here, for instance. I'm not sure if it will be this tank yet, but this is the one that's here. Now next to it, I've just actually filled it up. I've got a massive water butt there that's got nearly 300 litres, I think, something like that. And this is brilliant because it means I've always got water at room temperature, which is what I heat all the tanks to, so I don't have to regulate it at all. And I've just got it all here dechlorinated because it's gassing off because the lid isn't on. And then this is the little trick part. So underneath this curtain here, so this curtain I've got is just for putting behind me if I'm filming the tank and there's loads of reflections all over the glass. I can just put it behind me when I'm filming and it just sort of cuts all of that out straight away. Really good investment, but it's also good for hiding stuff. So I tend to think of under here as my area, look, for sort of storage. So yeah, look, so we've got cleaning stuff over here. We've got the Hoover. This is shop vac, so it's like wet and it's dry. And then next to it, I've got this reel. And on the reel at the end, which many people ask me what this isn't going to work now because it's not all out, but I've got this here, which is just the inlet for an aquarium filter. Was it inlet? Yeah, an inlet. Then I've just attached it to this little ball valve here. It's on a 10-meter reel, which is the whole length of the studio from here all the way to down there, so I can get everywhere. And then that reel just goes around and is attached to this pump, and I put the pump into the water butt and just turn it on with a plug, and I've got water whenever I want it. And also it works the other way around as well. So if I want to drain the tank in here, I just put that pump into the aquarium that we need, and then take that and put it either in the sink or outside the door and just turn it on. So it works for both ways. So yeah, that's that little section, which is pretty nifty. And then next to it, we've got, well, you guys know, hopefully most of you know now, we've got Timmy down here. He's doing great, begging me for food. He's already been fed today, so he doesn't actually need any more. Rough little setup for him, but it's an enjoyable one. So he can get out of the water when he wants. When his lamp's on, he'll sit under there. He's just got loads of moss in there because they love to like sort of swim around and hide in it. But he's really happy. Look at him. You're gonna get a really cool setup, but I'm trying to get moved in and get a few things going first. Next to him, we have got the red aquarium with my white betta. Another one that I want to go into a new red tank, a giant red tank, with a load of other whitefish as well. Might not be able to go in with guppies, but the snow whites are sort of short finned, and he's not aggressive at all. He's got loads of little shrimp in with him. See if I can see any. Yeah, there you go, there's one right away. Oh no, I can't get it, but there's a shrimp, there's loads of shrimp in there with him, and he doesn't even bother hurting them at all. So he might be absolutely fine with short finned guppies. Then next to him, I've got this little sort of no filter. Oh, they're both no filter, by the way. They just, the plants clean everything. So this one, you can see, actually see it purling, look. That's well good. So it's just a really good light, to be honest. It's twin star lighting, and I've had to keep all the floating. Hello, here he comes. Here's Hellboy. He's an old boy now. I've had him for a long time, but look at that, still very, very active. Again, they've all been fed today. I don't know why they're begging so much, but I've covered the surface, most of it, look, with salvinia and red root floaters, because this light is very powerful. We would possibly get algae, actually probably not, because the tank is so well established now. But yeah, that's a nice little one. It's proper rough and proper sort of natural style. It's a jungle, let's face it, but it makes the fish pop so well when you've just got green in the tank, especially if it's colourful like this guy. So yeah, that's that section. Now everything you've seen so far is basically, it's all like either cheap tanks, cheap lighting, you know, there's nothing complicated or expensive about what we've shown so far. I've just got quite good at creating a good nutrient-dense base, which meant the plants do all the work for me. They grow really well, and we don't get loads of algae. If the plants are growing well, you tend to find the balance quickly, and you can like really, I wouldn't say completely get rid of algae, but get rid of most of it and just have small little background levels. But that is completely different for that tank there. This is all expensive, high-tech stuff. Not crazy expensive, but way more than what I'd usually spend on things. Oh yeah, obviously we've got the middle tank that's been brought down now, put into that gap. That's a 3-foot tank with a sort of cob. Is it called a cob LED lighting? I don't know, but that will be set up and that'll look nice. It's an Aquariums for Life tank and stand, the same as the one next to it. So I have the two together. I'll go for completely different styles as well. And over here, we just got like some plant storage down the bottom with some stems and things that we're going to be putting in new tanks. And then above it, I'm just, at the moment, again, it's more of a sort of storage tank rather than anything aquascape, but these are all my endlers, males, females, and they've just released a ton more babies in the back. Awesome, nice one, girls. Yes. And then next to them, we've got my Ranchu goldfish, which are getting nice and chunky. They're not too big for the tank yet, but I'm going to do something cool for them again. But you know, they're perfect in here at the moment, and it's going well, putting on some good size. But they're going to get a great tank as well. But anyway, this one right here is the real deal. This has got Chihiros lighting, so way more money than I'd normally spend, like triple the amount. It's got a CO2 system in it, which is something I never put on any of my tanks, and it's injected CO2, like bubble counter and everything. I'll show you in a second. But you know, that's another level for me. And the other thing is, there's 60 betta fish in here. So yeah, as you can see, plant health is just off the scale, exactly what you'd expect. All the bettas are balling down here at the moment because I've just put an algae wafer in the bottom there. It wasn't actually designed for them. It was designed for these guys. There we go. It was designed for you, my friend. But yeah, what I'm really liking about this tank at the moment is the absolute pop we're getting with the reds. So any Ludwigia here is just looking great. We've got La Grandulos in the middle, the nice sort of Rossetti sort of style one there. No, not you, there. Otto, look, just going to work. That is the Palustrius Super Red, which, I mean, this just looks fantastic. There's a lot of purling going on at the moment, guys, and that is because the tank is at midday, and at midday you're at sort of peak CO2 levels, aren't you, and the highest lighting and all of that, so it's really going for it. Oh, there we go. He's pushed through. He's like, actually, that's a she, isn't it? There's some bristles, maybe a young male, just munching away on that tab, perfect. I didn't actually think the female betters would go for the tab, but they really do. I mean, it's not like they don't get any of the other food, so I'm not quite sure why, but never mind. Now, this tank was actually considered a little bit controversial, I guess, because it's a lot of fish, isn't it? Lots of people say you're not supposed to put more than one betta fish together. Now, it's a little bit different with the females, obviously, but 60 in a 4-foot tank, it's asking for trouble, isn't it? Well, that's what we were trying to have a look at. We're thinking that, like with cichlids, you put enough of them together, there's no aggression because they're not fighting over territory, and that literally seems to be the case because there's a couple of them have got a few nipped fins and things like that, but I think that was when I first put them in because nowadays it's all looking good, and any that did have nipped fins is grown back. They've got the translucent part in between the gap in the fin, so it doesn't seem like there's any more aggression going on anymore at all. And I would have been able to show you that if not for the fact that they're all now collecting around the tablets. Usually what they do is they have little groups, like a group of 7, another group of whatever, like 7 or 8, and then there's some in the back in the different zones, and it just seems to be like a proper nice community, and it doesn't seem to be aggression at all. They're not bothered by the neons. The neons don't bother them. They're not even like scared of them, because normally if they're not even freaked out by them. The neons usually, if they consider anything a threat, will stay together as a group. They'll shoal or school together. But these guys are just everywhere, just floating around, looking gorgeous. Yeah, so far it's been a really, really successful tank. Love having it in the studio. It does desperately need a trim up though. But the reason I haven't done that is because I'm about to set up a new tank and I want the trimmings or the clippings to go in that one. And that won't be long, but it is going to be pretty awesome. I mean, just look at that. Look at that graduate. Oh yeah, I set this whole tank up as well so it'd look cool from the corner because I knew you'd be able to see it side on. And yeah, it really does look cool. Look at that. So that is this whole area covered. Now we've got the other side of the studio, kind of the middle section as well. So we've obviously got the middle table here, which to be honest, I'm yet to utilize. I really don't think I need to be taking up this much space with a table. But anyway, it's there for the time being. Now to the side of it, we've already got 2 3-foot tanks set up. These are, well, almost 3 foot, 80 centimeters, 90 is 3 foot. There's no power going to those at the moment, so I will have to come up with a solution. I'll probably just do a like electric Tracy thing down there somewhere, something like that. And then next to it, we have got Hardscape World, and this is the back end to it. To be honest, again, I can put a row of tanks all the way along here and all the way along here at some point if I want to. There's no need to at the moment because we've already got so many tanks in here that aren't actually being used. But it's good to know that there are options in the future. Now for some people, they're going to be like, oh, it's over cluttered. It's a studio, remember, it's not like a gallery. I just like having loads and loads of stuff going on. It just makes everything way more interesting every day. And that's not just for me then, that's for you guys as well, for filming and just in general, it's just way more fun, lots of stuff going on. As long as you can manage it. Now, I make sure I build the tanks in a way, don't I, that they kind of look after themselves, which means I can always manage lots and lots of tanks. As I'm chatting to you, I just looked over here. And there's some serious sparring going on down in the corner there of the rainbows. First thing in the morning, so there'd be like sparring between the males, showing off to the females. It's only down there though. The guys up here, not bothered at all. So yeah, moving along in this area. So down here is my shrimp tank. One of the first tanks I actually set up in this new space. They're just getting some food at the moment. There's more than that in there. They're dotted around everywhere. Oh, we've got some youngers down there, it looks like, as well. There is a couple of little Endler babies that are in here as well, growing up. But yeah, a nice simple tank. It was literally just chuck a load of plants in, a little bit of gravel as a substrate, some floating plants, and it's getting along really well. Nothing above it though, it's just an empty tank, empty tank, empty tank, but designs are coming soon for those. Next to them, we've got a couple of little plant storage tanks. So I've got loads of different stems, buses, and some really beautiful plants here from Aquafleur. They're actually waiting to go in a tank I want to set up over that way. I want to do one of the 4 foots, probably that one underneath the aircon unit, as just as many plants as I can grow in one tank. Like a little bit of hardscape for interest, but nothing really taking up any space on the bottom of the tank. And then just fill it out with an absolute ton of plants. We've got loads there. I've got loads down here as well. These have all been in here for like 6 months, growing crazy. And then we've got this area here, which is my desk area. Now, when I'm sat at that, obviously my back is to everything. Some of you are a bit like, turn your desk around, you need to be facing outwards. Look, when I'm editing and things like that, I don't need any distractions, and tanks are very distracting, aren't they? So it's a very, very simple setup. This is a color calibrated monitor. So I use that to edit on because then it's like a standard for every screen. So, well, every screen's different that you watch it on, but at least there's like a middle base point with the, this isn't interesting, is it? I don't know. So laptop, yeah, it's just, oh, look, so you were complaining that my desk was too small, so I added this bit on top of it and brought it right out, and it's actually way better, so that's good. Little thingy there with some pens and stuff. And then we've got this little shelving rack behind it, a few things on it. Maybe I'll do something, you know, like a wabi-kusa or something in these, look a little bit pretty. Some hardscape, it'll fill up eventually, I just know it will. And we've got the plants on top. Oh, lots of you are suggesting that all the plants are gonna die, but guess what? They're all doing really good, especially this one, which looks like a giant crypt to me. They're all doing really good, all the plants. Let me just take you around actually, just for proof. Look, this is it an umbrella plant? I don't know, it's like a thick-leafed. Look, we've even got brand new leaves coming out of the top as well. Soil is moist, but not dry. I'm doing very well, honestly, for me. Oh, this one's a little bit dry, but it's doing very good. Look, again, new leaf there. I don't know the names of all of these. I know that's a Monstera, to be honest. That's about the only one I do know in here. Again, new leaves coming up. Look at this. All of them are doing well. This one suffered a little bit, and down there was a few sprouts, but they come off. But you can see that there's new ones coming again, and again, all moist soil. So I'm really pleased with how it's going. Oh, no, I've forgotten one. This one here as well, also growing great with new leaves coming out. And I think a lot of that, to be honest, is due to the fact that we've got really good light in this studio. So there's always decent light for the plants to grow. That's how it works, isn't it? And the main fact that they're not dying is because I'm actually remembering to water them. So every Monday is my watering day. I looked at all the labels of the plants when I got them, and it said once per week. So I just went, Mondays, come in, do it. Yeah, anyway, where was I? Desk. Yeah, that's sorted. Up next to it, it's got the latest build, which is the shrimp owls. This is coming along really, really well. Look at this. We've already got a shell of one of the shrimp there, which means that they're just shedding their shells well, which means they're happy, they're growing, they're not going to die off. There's one at the back there, there's a couple there. You can see a few sort of in and amongst the grass and that hiding away, but yeah, just smashed my lens. This one's doing very, very well. Not even got any cloudy water, and everything is growing already. Look, it's just creeping. It's all creeping across, which is great. Obviously, in time, this is all going to be filled up with different things, but I just don't want to rush anything at the moment. I was concentrating on getting the studio itself looking good, and then we can start doing builds as and when I feel. I'm not going to feel pressured to just cram them all in. When I want to do a certain thing with a good idea, I'll do it. And then I think you guys will appreciate that a little bit more as well. Next to that racking, on top, we've got this giant piece of wood. Why don't you put it in a tank? I'll tell you why, because this stuff, like, for some reason, it poisons the water. No one really knows why either, but I just think it looks cool as a sculpture more than anything. I don't want to risk it. And by the time that's like sorted, I'll have to take it out, break it down in a new tank, and there'll be no fish in it. And I don't really like fish tanks without the fish. Another Monstera there looking really, really good. We've got our Wi-Fi router as well, really strong internet here, which is great. And then I've got this ladder which folds up, but I never fold it up because who can be bothered to do that? And I use that for going up the top there and watering all the plants along the top. And then up next, we've got the sort of kitchen-y prep cleaning area, I guess. We've got a microwave, we've got a kettle, a couple of mugs. There's never really normally more than 2 people here. The cooker, what's this? Air fryer, sorry, air fryer. And then we've got some pizza for today's meal. Lovely, that's left over from yesterday. We had a massive pizza, we didn't need all of it, so yeah. And then down the bottom here, we've got the fridge, which has got loads of water and Pepsi Max in, lovely. Cleaning stuff, bin, Coke, yeah, whatever. Kate's the clever one, she insisted that we had a first aid kit here, because she seems to cut her hands every single time she's here. This here, so this is a way of filling up tanks, as well as the other way. So this will fill up the water butt with water from the tap, so it's just coming all the way back there up to here. You might be wondering what this is. Well, there's a little bit of a leak that comes from this hose attachment that I've got on the tap. Tiny little bit, but even a little bit over time dripping down there will go on the floor. So I just put that there and it wicks it down into that, all good. And then, oh look, yes, we've got our fern here, actually doing well. Kate wanted it there, I felt it was in the way. She's right, as usual, looks pretty. So this area here is what I like to call the shop. I didn't need to do that. Yeah, I call it the shop because it's like walking into a shop and you're picking out stuff you want, but you can just go straight away and escape with it. So we've obviously got all of our API and aquarium products up here, so whatever I need, I can just come and grab it. It doesn't always look like this. This is because Katie was in recently and she keeps things like this for me because I'm terrible. I mean, look at that. Look, I could never find these, so I kept buying new ones. And now that she's here, they're all here. I've got too many. In fact, no, you can't have too many. These are like gold dust for some reason in the fish room. So yeah, we've got all of our woods to select from. I've kind of tried to keep them in some kind of organisation. So we've got like bigger pieces. We've got medium sized, but used. So they've got that nice sort of darker tones to them. We've got medium sized new, smaller pieces, new and used, and yeah, whatever. And then down the bottom, we've got loads of dragonstone. We've got rounded pebbles. We've got black lava rock. We've got mountain stone, Sirius stone. And then to the side here, recently I went across to Superfish over in the Netherlands, and I went around and had a look at all of their different products they've got. And whilst I was there, I like picked out a few and said, can you send me these? I want to try them out, see what they're like. So I've got loads of different products here that we can be using. I've got these little cute shrimp ones. I want to put these in like a shrimp racking system. So it's not fully scaped or anything because shrimp you don't really see them if you fully scape the tank for them, so you've got to keep it a little bit simple. But little things like this are just quite cute, especially when there's multiple of them in a different rack. And then we've got like the ceramic rocks with the holes in as well. Look at them. See, it's like a little hobbit home or something. And then balls as well. We've got glues, we've got all the different tweezers and things. I keep my stones up here. We've got filters down bottom, we've got pumps, LED controllers, CO2 indicator. I've got a CO2 reactor system here because I'm going to be using this one on another one of my 4-foot builds, which, like I just said, was the one that I want to grow as many plants as possible. If I'm going to do that and use advanced plants, I'm going to need some CO2 as well. But this is the best one I've found so far because it comes with this awesomely, it looks good, you know what I mean? It's got bubble counters, it's got a solenoid, it's got everything in it. But the best thing is you can buy these, which is just the ingredients that go inside it, and it makes CO2 for like a month or more, depending on how much you use it. And I love the fact I can just have this here to refill at any point. Not a sales pitch or anything, it's just something that I'm using and think it's really good. So that is it for this one, guys. The first tour of the new studio. Obviously we haven't got a huge amount to look at, but it's quite nice to be able to talk to you about like where we think things are gonna go, what's working, what isn't working. But as you can see, there's so much more to come. So if you haven't already, click the subscribe and the notification, you know how it works. I'll see you on the next one.